Hi, everybody.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee.
And this is a very special episode.
Scary. I know I'm in pink. It may be more but we'll just say pink is the new black, okay?
So I have the old something.
But I do have my scary mug from @spellfire.com.
But what makes this episode so special, Banshee?
What indeed? We are here to do a review. Well, it's kind of a reveal and a review instead of an unboxing, because if anybody knows me, I can't wait to unbox things I buy. So it's never going to happen that I'm going to be pulling off cellophane here and unboxing something right in front of you. So a little
And we
bit
have
of a
some
review.
friends on the set today. From left to right, we have Peculiar.
The cat.
And then we have Mr. Bones. He's an old favorite. And
We never named him.
Nevermore.
A raven. We thought we'd get in the spirit.
So this is our special homage to Edgar Allan Poe by reviewing this deck. And we actually are fortunate enough to know a distant descendant of Edgar Allan Poe. Or is that a figment of our imagination?
Well, we did buy an extra deck for said person, so we'll see. Anyway, all fun aside, this deck is by Rose Wright and illustrated by Eugene Smith. Good grief, Mr. O. Could you kind of throw the camera on there?
Oh, throw it?
Yeah. It comes in this wonderful big box, nice and, with the automatic magnetic clasp there. And look at this inside. Oh, I don't know if we can do it justice. Can you pan? Yeah. So that's the book. The book was on top here, but look here. Very, very nice.
It's a beautiful set. It's very lush. Is that what they say? Lush? Lush.
So we've got a ginormous book. You can look at the size.
288-page book.
And if I can kind of thumb through by the camera here a little, it is beautiful color illustrated.
Indeed.
It has spreads.
Yes, it has a number of spreads, including some that are called the Edgar Allan Poe spreads, 2 or 3 different ones.
They have an old yes or no reading in here that we remember from many years gone by.
Right.
Not the one we use currently in our live streams. But yes, the Edgar Allan Poe spread. There's the Raven spread. There's the Telltale Heart spread. And there's the Dream Within a Dream spread. Those are very awesome. And I think we have just a few more. We have the Oval Portrait spread. We have the Gravestone spread. Well, and conclusion. And there's a nice list of Edgar Allan Poe's short stories and things at the end, so that, you might want to read the stories even before you work with the cards, some of them. But this is amazing. The book, Banshee always likes a book that gives unique spreads, and this one delivers. One other thing I will say about the book, since we're doing it, is right now, is that... Okay, so for a card, let's say Temperance here. They give you the beautiful picture on the one side, and then they have what they call the Telltale Heart, which is, of course, one of the stories of Edgar Allan. But the thing, or is it a poem?
It's a story.
Okay, I don't want to show my my naivety at Edgar Allan. I know some stuff. But at any rate, the Telltale Heart is all a description about where the images are derived from, which part of Poe's poetry or stories, the image is taken from. And then on the other side here, we have this thing called Into the Maelstrom, which is basically, kind of an overview of the interpretation. And then they have upright and reversed interpretations below, keywords. So all in all, this book gets, I'd say, at least a 9 from me and probably a 10. This just looks really fantastic. And I just wanted to give just quickly, unless you want to do some too, but Eugene Smith, the artist, did the Totem Animal Tarot, or the Animal Totem Tarot. I always forget which goes first. With Lisa Robertson, such a beautifully illustrated deck, and he is the artist on this deck. And the author, Rose Wright, is somebody who's done a lot of writing and has been featured in New Worlds magazine and New Leaf magazine before. So she did a fantastic job writing this up. I've been looking at some of the interpretations, and we might give you a couple samples as we go along. But this show is really about the deck.
Right. And I'm very impressed with the deck.
Yes, so it came in the box, and let's pull it out here. I've got them all in order, and we'll show them to you. I'll hand them to Mr. O to put them in front of the camera. There's the Fool card. The Magician. And before we go any further, Mr. O, could you show the backs of those cards? Look at the backs. So the back, you won't be able to tell if it's upright or reversed. I also like that for those of us who read reversed cards. The High Priestess. The Empress. The Emperor.
The Emperor is the card that has the distinction of not really having an actual allegory. It really merely represents the author at work at his desk.
Yeah, and I like that. And the Hierophant. The Lovers. The Chariot. Strength. The Hermit. It's just funny. I was telling Mr. O that every time I look at that card, I keep thinking of Old Man in the Sea and not Edgar Allan Poe. But anyway, here we go. The Wheel of Fortune. I love that. Beautiful golden scarab there.
The gold bug.
And the ravens. And then we have Justice. And the Hanged Man, and look what's here. It's the Pit and the Pendulum. Yes. Man, that's a very interesting analogy because, of course, the Hanged Man is about sacrifice. And look who's the Death card.
This is supposed to be an imagining or representation of Lenore. Or is it Abigail?
I believe it's
Annabelle.
Lenore.
Yeah.
Lenore.
Annabelle Lee is also in here, but Lenore is his love, I guess.
Right. And we have Temperance. Look at this Devil card.
And that image more or less corresponds to the Black Cat.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the Tower is the fall of the House of Usher. The Star. Love the reflection in the water. The Moon. Look at that symmetry in that card. The way the swords stand, you know, and the door right there in between to the castle and the walkway. Very interesting. The Sun. Beautiful, bright. Judgment. The World. And now we get into the suits. So we'll start with the Wands, with the Ace of Wands. Love that image. Of course, bookshelves. You know I'm partial to that. The Two of Wands. The Three of Wands.
There's that maelstrom.
Yeah. The Four, which is interesting. Well, of course, this is Poe, so it's like a funeral or maybe somebody rising. I'm not sure. I have to look up the the message on that one.
And this one is a story of mine a story I've read, Hop Sing.
Okay. The Five of Wands.
And it was also incorporated into one of the movies about Edgar Allan Poe.
Six of Wands.
Or his red mask, actually.
Oh, and speaking of red mask, that's coming up next, I think, right?
Yes.
Seven of Wands.
Yes. Prince Prospero.
And what would be the Eight of Wands if not a bunch of flying ravens?
Oh, my.
The Nine of Wands. The Ten of Wands. Are you familiar with that story? I can't remember this one.
I think it's from the Maelstrom.
I can't remember the name, if that's correct or not, but it was about somebody who wanted to bring his wife's coffin on the ship, and they wouldn't let him. And he had made his wife's dying wish was that she could be buried in her homeland. And so instead of leaving her wife alone behind, he tied himself to the coffin and went, down with her.
I'm not sure what to say.
I just read this in the book. See, there's so much in the book. You will really enjoy it. So there's the Page of Wands. And there's the Knight of Wands.
And I believe that's the Murder in the Rue Morgue.
I love this dress here, the Queen of Wands. We have the King of Wands. We have the Ace of Cups. Beautiful, beautiful colors in the Cups cards. We have the Two.
Yeah, they have a lot of deep blues.
Not all. Three. Okay, that dress does. I admit.
I believe this is also seen from the Mask of the Red Death.
Okay. The Four of Cups.
That's probably Telltale Heart.
And here we have Poe by Lenore's grave for the Five of Cups.
Trying to get it in on the words Lenore, but the
I can see it a little
reflective
bit.
surface sort of works against us here.
The Six of Cups. Well, it might be our lighting today, but rest assured.
We'll get a lot of reflection.
Yeah. The Seven.
But we plan on using this, of course. And soon.
October's coming. And Halloween in September doesn't sound bad either. The Eight of Cups. And that's very moody. That's just really moody. Dark and moody. And the opposite, the Nine of Cups. Look how bright and happy. Of sorts. And then the Ten of Cups. The Page. The Knight. The Queen. The King. Are we getting rid of some of the glare there? Okay.
I'm hoping to.
That's better. It's better.
This is a dark card.
And we're down to the swords. And who's sitting atop the Ace of Swords?
It's our Raven friend. He's a little dark on this one, but you'll be able to see him when you get the deck.
The Two. Oh dear, it's a real pierced heart here. The Three.
And that is from the Telltale Heart, of course.
Mm-hmm. The Four.
This is probably the Tomb of Lygia.
This is probably one of the creepiest cards to me in the deck. The Five of Swords. Totally dismembered body. Even the teeth are out. The Six.
I love the dawn over the water back there.
The Seven of Swords. The Eight of Swords.
The Premature Burial.
Ah.
I probably read the story, but I really remember the old Ray Milland movie in the 60s, and it kind of terrified me. My parents took me to see it at the theater, and it was scary.
I did see that one too. I did. The Nine of Swords. I don't know if I saw it in the theater, though, or on TV.
I remember seeing it in the theater.
The 10. 10 of Swords. I read this story too. I mean, in the book here, it was creepy. I might use that as one of the examples for us. The Page of Swords. The Knight of Swords. The Queen of Swords. The King of Swords. And now on to the Golden Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles. The 2. These very much look commerce-driven or whatever, very monetary.
Yes.
The 3. The 4.
Yes, and most of the qualities of the suits do seem to be very accurate, but we have a real expert tarot reader doing this.
And oh dear, somebody's lost their head in the 5 of Pentacles. The 6. 7. The 8 of Pentacles.
Another self-portrait. Well, not a self-portrait. But
I love it with all the books behind him there. The 9 of Pentacles. And the 10. I like this Page of Pentacles here.
It looks like a mason.
And a dog and cat in this one. The Knight. The Queen. And finally, the King of Pentacles. It's very nice. Very nice deck. So,
I remember reading through
ahead.
the book and finding that there was some things that reminded me just slightly of my slight knowledge of the Lenormand. I think it was something to do with the way you could treat court cards and or combine court cards, and it sort of sounded like more a convention of the Lenormand. So I thought that was a nice touch because it sort of doesn't, in my mind, sit exactly as a tarot deck because it has all these images that are so particular to the Poe era, the time period of Poe, and the fabric of those stories that he wrote.
They shuffle
Good
really
job.
well. Why don't you try to riffle them? I have just shuffled them for the first time. They are pretty thin, as decks are these days, and I am worried a little bit about
Wear
full
and tear.
bending, of the cards. But I have to say, this is a deck for the ages. This is so beautiful.
It's a
I
masterpiece.
Really love
It's a masterpiece
this
of art.
deck.
Yeah.
And so what I'm going to do, just before we get off the air, is take a look at some of these, at least one. I was mentioning the 10 of Pentacles or 10 of Swords before, because that's one of the most difficult cards in the tarot. And let's see what they have here, just so you can get an idea of the kind of information you get in the book.
Let me show the picture first.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, creepy little thing in the tower there coming out of the chimney.
So the Telltale Heart, which is about the, image itself and where it's derived from, says, in the story, The Murders in the Rue Morgue, Detective C. Auguste Dupin investigates the murder of 2 women. The apartment is ransacked, but the front door is locked. One of the women is found outside, while the other is stuffed inside the chimney. Dupin concludes that only an animal has the dexterity and strength to climb the outer wall of the complex and create a murder scene this gruesome. And he's right. In this image, a deceased woman's head and arm protrude from the top of a chimney. 10 swords surround her. The swords hint at the tragedy that occurred inside the building. The Ten of Swords is arguably the tarot's most intense image and one of the toughest messages to accept. It heralds a significant ending and the beginning of a new cycle. Scary indeed, but an inevitability for all that live. So then, if you read the Into the Maelstrom, which is kind of an overview, what do you call it? Interpretation, card interpretation. Your world has been shaken up. You may have suffered a devastating loss. Divorce, job loss, or a home foreclosure could be causing despair. Your circle of friends may have abandoned you. You feel that you're a good person. You've met all your responsibilities. You've shown up, even when you didn't want to, and given love to others. Yet everything came to a swift end, and you wonder why this is happening. You feel as if you suffered a death, and in a way you have. However, in time, your pain will end. Reflect on what you've learned from this experience. Don't resist the change. There's a purpose to your pain. It's necessary in order for your soul's expansion. Upright, loss, abandonment, crisis, despair, endings, demise. Reversed, denial of endings, recovery, regeneration, renewal. And what are we doing here, Mr. O?
I'm just playing while you read.
Okay.
Pick a card.
Well, they're upright.
Pick it anyway.
I'm digging underneath where...
Oh, look.
Did I try?
No, I did.
I knew it wasn't me.
Of course.
I just knew it fell.
Bam!
No, bam, I got the headless one.
Well, I picked the Ten of Pentacles. Gruesome little card.
And I picked the 5. So, do you want to read one more?
Sure.
Which one?
Yours.
Okay, the 5 of Pentacles. Let me get there. There we are. Into the Maelstrom. Excuse me. I'm on the 4. There we go. The Telltale Heart. In the story, Never Bet the Devil Your Head, protagonist Toby Dammock's worst vice is his habit of saying, "I'll bet the devil my head." The narrator tries to help Toby break the habit, but to no avail. One day, Toby and the narrator approach a dark-covered bridge with a turnstile at the bridge's halfway point. Toby bets the devil his head that he can jump over the top of the turnstile. As the narrator attempts to reply, an old man lets out a cough, alerting them to his presence. The old man watches Toby as he makes his attempt. The narrator is upset, and that the old man egged Toby on in such a dangerous stunt. While Dammit made a perfect jump, he strikes his head on a sharp iron bar hidden directly beneath the turnstile. Toby falls to the ground, and the old man hobbles away with his head. Toby's funeral bill is left unpaid. The narrator has no choice but to exhume his body and offer it for sale as dog meat. In this image, Toby's decapitated body lies in a wooden bridge in front of a turnstile. The devil limps away with Toby's head.
And you know he's the devil because he's got those kicking red shoes. Check those out. Such detail.
Such detail. And into the Maelstrom. The 5 of Pentacles is a difficult energy to contend with. You feel like the world is against you. You've experienced a string of bad luck that won't let up. Your finances could be strained. You might be shouldering college debt or credit card balance. Your mortgage loan may be in default. Take action so that you can get back on your feet again. Refinance your loan. Pay the minimum on your credit card. Seek the help of a financial counselor. As well, you may suffer an illness or deal with the accumulation of medical debt. This card also indicates loneliness. You may feel shut out by your significant other. Perhaps your partner has disappeared, leaving you with nothing but broken promises. On a positive note, the 5 of Pentacles only has the power of a 5. The energy associated with this card should pass quickly. The number 5 indicates that big changes are just around the corner. Your life may rapidly move in a positive direction. Keep faith that life will get easier because it will. So upright is poverty, struggle, worry, desperation, adversity, insecurity, loneliness, illness, and unemployment. Reversed is financial recovery, assistance, employment, cash flow, stability, and progress.
Very cool.
Well, I don't know what you guys think. We'd like to hear from you what you think about this wonderful deck. I have a feeling it's going to be a hot seller this Halloween season.
Absolutely. It makes a great gift.
And by the way, if we haven't mentioned it, which I probably should have, this is a Llewellyn deck. So you can order it directly from them, or I'm sure it's available, it'll be available at your local stores, metaphysical stores, and on Amazon.com. So, anything else, Mr. O, to close with?
No, it was a dark and scary night.
Quote the Banshee, buy this deck and use it evermore.
All right, everybody.
Take care.